Waka. Welcome to the first Premier League Roundup. We are looking back at some of the games of this game week. We're gonna talk more about Man City against Brighton, about Fulham against Tottenham, and of course, about Arsenal versus Chelsea. And we're also gonna talk a little bit about the Carabao Cup final between Newcastle and Liverpool. First up, about Man City versus Brighton. Erling Haaland with the penalty to give Man City the lead. Of course, when Haaland has a penalty, you kind of know what's going to happen. He scores. But Brighton, obviously a tough opponent. Estupinian with the 1-1 for Brighton. Great goal from a free kick. Last week we saw Bruno Fernandes do that against Arsenal, and now we have Estupinian against Man City. But new player from Man City, Omar Marmoush, keeps on impressing, and he scores the 2-1. He's going to halftime, and the other new player for Man City scores an own goal in the second half. His luck has been hit and miss since he came in. He's been better the last couple of weeks, but yeah, unlucky. And that's also the final score of that match. Brighton always a tough opponent. Man City just can't keep a good run going. So yeah, 2-2, but they're still in the top four race. Then we have Fulham against Tottenham. Obviously, one of my favorite games this weekend. Fulham and Tottenham weren't great. Game was kind of boring, especially in the first half. But in the second half, Fulham gave us a fun afternoon with Rodrigo Muniz scoring 1-0 in the 78th minute. Great goal. Obviously, as an Arsenal fan, it was definitely a great goal. And just to make it even worse, ex-Tottenham player Ryan Sessegnon making 2-0 in the 88th minute. And the funny thing was, I was watching the mob watch along while watching the Arsenal Chelsea game, and the Tottenham fan on the mob watch along, he freaked out, and I loved it. Stephen Toes was going crazy. 2-0 for Fulham against Tottenham. We love it. Then the last game we're going to highlight from the Premier League, Arsenal against Chelsea. It was a really boring game. You could just tell Chelsea is not in form. They've been really hit or miss. Cole Palmer wasn't there. They experimented with Reece James in the midfield. They couldn't really hurt Arsenal. They didn't have great chances. And Arsenal just pops up with a corner. Marino with a great looping header, 1-0. Arsenal was the better team. They had some chances here and there, but the finishing just wasn't great, like we've seen all season. So, yeah, mostly a boring game. Some good performances here and there, some yellow cards. Both teams had yellow cards. I don't know how Fofana only got one yellow card with all the fouls he made. Crazy. But you know what? It's a 1-0 win for Arsenal. We have to make sure that we stay in second place at least, secure our top four spot. The league isn't on anymore, obviously, but let's just rake in the points stay second, and hopefully with a good summer we can try again next year. Other scores are Everton West Ham 1-1 with goals from Tuchek and a injury time equalizer from O'Brien. A draw doesn't do much for both teams, but hey, it's at least 1 point. They're both above the relegation. 4-2 Nottingham Forest against Ipswich. Ipswich, not a great season. They have some great games, but mostly they are just not Premier League level. Nottingham Forest, great third place. I hope for them that they can keep it up and play Champions League next season. They have a fun team to watch. The goals on Nottingham Forest side were from Milenkovic. Elanga scored twice. Silva with the fourth goal. And on Ipswich side, it was Gajust and Hurst. But yeah, Ipswich going down for sure. Southampton against Wolves. Wolves winning and making sure they stay ahead of Ipswich and outside of the relegation zone. 2-1 for Wolves against Southampton, who is bottom and is practically already relegated. Never good enough for the Premier League. And yeah, Wolves just keep it ticking. Bournemouth versus Brentford. Kind of a surprise, at least for me, that Bournemouth didn't win against Brentford, especially at their own stadium. 2-1 win for Brentford. They did take the lead, Bournemouth, with an own goal. And then for Brentford, Wissa and Norgard fired back and gave them the 2-1 win. And then the last game from Sunday, Leicester versus Man United. Another team that's going to get relegated in Leicester City, losing 3-0 against Man United. Man U fans will probably be very happy going into the international break with a convincing win, with goals from Rasmus Højlund, finally, and Garnacho chipping in, and a goal from Bruno Fernandes. Great win for Man United. Not that they can really achieve anything in the Premier League this season, but for Amorim, he just needs to win games and get his team together. Finally, we're going to talk about the Carabao Cup final. A 2-1 win for Newcastle over Liverpool. Watching the game, you could just tell that Newcastle were really up for it. The fans were behind it. The players, they knew that 70 years without a trophy is way too long for Newcastle. So they really went for it. Liverpool, just like against PSG, they weren't really at the races. Yeah, Dan Burn with a goal from a corner. Great goal. And then Isak scores the second goal. Fortunately, it was ruled out. And just within a minute, he still scores the 2-0. Great goal from Isak, showing why he is one of the best strikers at the moment. In the 94th minute, Chiesa did do something to get Liverpool back into the game. He scored a goal. VAR did check for offside, but it wasn't. Then I was thinking maybe Liverpool are still gonna fight back into this final, but Newcastle was very professional, going into the corner, wasting time, winning duels, and Liverpool didn't really have that big of a chance after that. And Newcastle win the Carabao Cup final and end their trophy drought. Well, guys, that was the Premier League roundup for this week. We will see you after the international break. Peace.